In this lesson, we'll learn about transform groups. Transform groups allow us to take a collection of objects and have them stored underneath one object that can be transformed. And that means moved, rotated, or scaled. They're a great way of organizing our scene also. Going to our Explorer, pressing the 8 key, if we had several objects in our scene and we wanted to condense what we saw in the Explorer, we can create a transform group and have those objects stored underneath it. So let's go to learn how to create this transform group. Now, in this scene, have our arm set up already in place where we have the hand parented to the forearm, forearm to the upper arm. So in creating the transform group, we're going to want to choose the parent object. That way the entire arm is stored underneath this group. So with the arm selected, I'm going to head over to Edit. And right at the top we'll find Create Transform Group. Let's go ahead and create that. Notice at the main control panel we can see that the group has been made. Also notice the entire arm has been highlighted. Again, letting us know further that it's now a part of a transform group. Let's head over to our Explorer to see what has happened. Notice now the upper arm is underneath this group. So if we were to expand it, there's the upper arm, lower arm, hand. Okay, so it's almost like parenting. But imagine if we had a lot of objects in our scene. If we were to store this in just one transform group, you could see the benefit of working with this, how clean our Explorer would be. Great, now let's say if we wanted to rename this transform group or any object, can press F2 in the Explorer with the object selected. So we could always call this TRNS GRP for transform group abbreviated _ arm. And there we have it. Alright, so we've learned how to create a transform group. We can't see it though in our viewport. Well, by default, the transform group object is hidden. But we could head over to our view menu, and underneath the view menu you'll find transform groups. If we go ahead and check that on, now we could see the transform group object or node. Great. And feel free to move that if you like. So with it selected, we can go to our move tool and start to move this transform group around. You can go to our rotate tool and do the same. And it's just parenting our objects to this node, or to this crosshair looking object. Alright, so we know how to create a transform group. How can we remove a transform group? Well, you'd simply select the transform group to collapse or to remove, and with it selected we'd head back over to Edit and choose Remove Transform Group. And now it has been totally removed, leaving us with what we saw before, the upper arm as the parent yet again. But for the sake of this lesson, let's go ahead and recreate this transform group. I'm going to go ahead and head back over to Edit and choose Create Transform Group. So make sure that has been made, and we know how to rename this. Again, we press F2 on the selected object in the Explorer. We could rename this to whatever we like to rename it to, so we have an idea of what this object is. Alright, so in this lesson we've learned about transform groups, what they're used for, how to create them, and how to remove them.